All right, so today we're going to pull back the curtain on the secret sauce that makes our favorite apps feel, well, impossibly fast. We're going to use a company called Linkspreed as our case study to see how it's possible for anyone, not just the tech giants, to build an app that works for millions of people all over the world. Let's get right into it.
I mean, really think about it for a second. You're just scrolling through your feed, right? And a 4K video from someone on the literal other side of the planet just starts playing instantly. No buffering, no lag, nothing. That smooth, seamless experience we all take for granted, well, behind the scenes, it's a massive engineering puzzle. So the big question is, how on earth do they pull that off?
For any big social media app, it's like they're fighting a war on two fronts. First, there's storage, and second, there's speed. And here's the kicker. As all of our photos and videos get bigger and better, we're talking high-res, 4K stuff, the challenge of both storing it and getting it to you in a split second, well, it gets way, way harder. So this is the fundamental problem, right? Number one, where do you even put all this stuff? We're talking petabytes of high-res media from millions and millions of users. And then number two, how do you get that specific photo or that video to someone in, say, another country without that awful, painful lag? And you can't just pick one to solve. You absolutely have to solve for both at the same time.
All right, so let's tackle that first challenge head-on, storage. Linkspreed knew they needed a solution that wouldn't just work for them right now, but one that could handle scaling up to 10 million users and even more, all without breaking a sweat. They were looking for something that was basically infinite.
And this is exactly where a service like Backblaze B2 steps in. I want you to just forget everything you know about old-school servers that you have to constantly upgrade and worry about. B2 it's like having a magical, bottomless digital warehouse. As people upload more and more photos and videos, the warehouse just expands all by itself. It completely gets rid of those old physical roadblocks to growth.
Okay, now here's a term you've got to know because it's a huge deal. It's called egress fees. Think of this as the hidden cost that can absolutely kill a growing platform. Every single time a user watches a video or even just looks at a photo, the app gets a bill from its cloud provider just for moving that data out of storage. When you're dealing with terabytes and terabytes of data, those fees can get crazy expensive, like astronomically.
But this is where the real genius move comes in, the financial masterstroke. Just look at this quote. Because Backblaze and Cloudflare are partners, those absolutely crippling egress fees, they're just waived. Poof, gone. This is a total game changer. It means you can serve up massive amounts of content for just a fraction of what it would cost on pretty much any other major cloud platform. It's huge.
Okay, so problem number one, storage, solved. But that's only half the battle, right? What about speed? How do you make sure that content gets delivered to anyone, anywhere in the world, in the blink of an eye? Let's dive into that.
So this all comes down to a problem called latency. And really, it's just about plain old physical distance. Let's say the server with the photo you want is in New York, but you're trying to see it in Tokyo. That data, those bits and bytes, have to physically travel thousands of miles through cables under the ocean. And it doesn't matter how fast your internet connection is. You just can't beat the speed of light. It's a hard limit. And the solution is actually brilliantly simple, at least in concept. Instead of making the user come to the data, you bring the data closer to the user. And that's exactly what Cloudflare does. It creates thousands of these things called edge nodes all over the globe. The best analogy is this. Instead of having one giant supermarket in New York that everyone has to travel to, you put a little local corner store in every single neighborhood, and you stock it with all the most popular stuff. It's just closer. And you can see exactly what a massive difference this makes. Before, on the left, that request from Tokyo has to travel all the way to New York and all the way back. It's just going to be slow. But after, with the Edge network, that same request just zips over to the local server right there in Tokyo. The travel distance shrinks from thousands of miles down to maybe just a few. And the experience for you, the user, it goes from laggy and frustrating to absolutely lightning fast.
So the technical goal here, the number they're all chasing, is a metric called time to first byte, or TTFB. It basically measures how quickly the server even starts sending you information after you've asked for it. And the magic number Linkspreed is aiming for is under 500 milliseconds. That's less than half a second. And why that number? Because anything faster than that feels instant. It feels subconscious, like the content was already waiting there on your phone.
So, let's recap. We've got our bottomless warehouse for storage, thanks to Backblaze, and we've got our global network of local corner stores for delivery, thanks to Cloudflare. Each one is powerful on its own, but the real magic, the secret sauce, is what happens when you put the two of them together. Let's look at what this high-performance partnership really delivers.
And, the proof is right here in the performance numbers. This chart lays it all out. The average page load time across the industry is about 2.5 seconds. But Linkspreed, they're way down here at 1.7 seconds. Now, that might not sound like a huge difference, but we're talking nearly a full second faster. That's a 30% improvement that you can literally feel with every single tap and every single scroll.
So, what's the end result of all this? You get a platform that's just incredibly tough and ready to scale. Because all the hard work, the heavy lifting of serving up all that media, is handled by the edge network, the main servers get to stay light and super responsive. It means your users can upload beautiful, high-quality 4K video, and it won't slow anything down for anyone else. Plus, since the whole system is spread out across the globe, it's just ridiculously reliable.
But look, this is about so much more than just making a website load faster. When you solve these huge fundamental problems of storage and speed, you're actually opening the door to entirely new things that can be built on the internet. It changes the game.
What we're really seeing here is a huge shift in how we think about building things online. Storage stops being a problem you have to solve and becomes a global utility, just like electricity. You just plug in and it's there, as much as you need. And at the same time, delivery becomes a super localized service, bringing the internet experience right to your doorstep. This is basically the new blueprint for building any kind of global app.
And why does any of this really matter? It matters because by taking care of all this ridiculously complex technical stuff in the background, this kind of infrastructure frees up the creators, the entrepreneurs, the people with the ideas. It lets them stop worrying about servers and scaling and all that headache and lets them focus 100% on what they actually care about, building their community. So I'll leave you with this thought. These massive, fundamental barriers, storing and delivering huge amounts of media across the globe, they've basically been solved now and made accessible to everyone. So the big question is, what's next? With this powerful new foundation in place, what new kinds of global connections, what new forms of creativity, what new communities are going to be built? The possibilities are, well, they're really exciting to think about.